Let me try to explain part 3 again on this. When Jesus, starting back at St. John 16, verse 13, it says, howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth, but he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. I said, I am that man. I live by the Spirit of Moses. A minute ago, when I took you over to chapter 14, St. John, it tells them, make sure you gotta see that I find him. This. He said, but the Comforter, which, verse 26, 14:26, St. John or John, whichever in your Bible, but the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you. Now, you'll say, well, how can this be? How can this be? Well, God had Moses in the beginning, after the children of Israel had came out of Egypt. And Genesis, I believe, Exodus, Lord, I said Genesis, Exodus chapter 25. He had him to build him Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant, and he put the law, the commandments in this ark. This ark symbolized the peoples in the Middle East. The 12 tribes came out of Israel. 12 tribes of Joseph, from the house of Joseph, which was the seed of Abraham. But there was a mercy seed God had them to make, and with 2 cherubims on one end, and the Spirit of God, which was the Holy Ghost, was talking to these prophets, which was in the midst of these, which was placed on the mercy. One was the spirit of Moses, and the other was the spirit of Elijah, who was caught up and made an attachment on to Jesus Christ. However, at this point in time of this prophecy, when Jesus was born, Elijah, who was John the Baptist, had been separated from this spirit, these 2 other symbols, who all had to be slain in the format of 3 days. You read this in St. Luke, and in Genesis, and also in Genesis 15, chapter 15, 9-10. Well, he was born, and Jesus was born as John the Baptist, but he had to prepare the way for Jesus to be born as in the flesh of a human being. But there was yet, Jesus was talking to his disciples over here in St. John, I was yet attached to him, attached to the Comforter, attached to the Holy Ghost, which was Jesus. I was living inside as the blood of the Lamb. So when he was talking, said the Father will send him, he had to, when he go, I have had to be the witness to the grave. So as he was talking to them, I was yet attached on to him. So this part of me would come back and speak to them and show them things to come, but they had to have a network of connection. And the other part of Jesus, when Jesus come in, his Spirit come in and blanket the earth as God, he will dwell among his own who will receive him. And the only way anybody can be saved, the people's, God's children, had to keep his commandments, but the world had to live and be saved through the seed of Abraham, because if they accept the commandments of God and live by the commandments law that Moses gave unto the nations, then they would be saved through that law. But here it is, in this point in time, the United States of America and the nations who was not in the book of life is trying to democratize these nation and take away that law, the only law to eternal life. This is what he had, and this is the reason he had to send a voice as a prophet, preparing the way for Jesus Christ's return, to reprove all these things, who also live by the Spirit of the Holy Ghost. He would be called a Comforter. This is me. But if I come down And God sent me to be born with the spirit of Moses. And there is no connecting part. There is no network because they have taken on a law of democracy. They is not going to believe in me when I speak. They is not going to know me, and they is not going to know the Father, and they is not going to know the Son. Because how can they not know the Father and the Son and don't understand a word that they speak through the Comforter? The sheep will know their shepherd. If a sheep, one who proclaims himself a sheep and don't know his shepherd, then he is not the sheep of that fold. There is a common denominator that God set forth and created for them to know the word of truth and the word of falsehood. They know this. Well, continuing with this, so I'm just showing you this doesn't contradict itself when he told them that they was going to be spirit of truth was going to come to them. The Holy Ghost going to come to them. Sure, because when he told them the Holy Ghost had to come from Jesus, and at the time Jesus spoke to them in St. John chapter 14, I was not slain, Jesus was not slain, so I remain an attachment to the spirit of the Holy Ghost which lived in Jesus, and I was yet attachment to that Holy Ghost. And when Jesus be slain, I would have to be slain with him. And when my time to come back here, the Holy Ghost had to come back and blanket the earth before I came back, and my return was not until the year of the 2,000 years was finished. And then that's what I would have come back to be born in the United States of America as a prophet of God, preparing the way for the return of Jesus Christ, spoken of in Ezekiel chapter 2 and Jeremiah chapter 1 and Milcah of M-I-C-A-H, I believe chapter 2 or 3 in M-I-C-A-H, I believe, in chapter 3. Now, the messenger of the covenant. I got that out of my way. I want to go and show you this here. This chart is what I got here. I'm going to bring up one more thing here. The Bible, Holy Bible, that's sent forth by God here on the earth, is a book of commandments. We start with a faith of belief because we have not, these people in these days would not have known God because of many false prophets who have came and altered the Bible in somewhat. But the ones that know God, these are the ones that will understand what I'm saying, because their integrity is going to be so attached to God until they will not only serve him, but they're going to be dedicated to the news. It's just simply that. They're going to check the revelations and check the spirit of truth to get understanding. Okay. What happened in the beginning? What's the chart here? After Jesus went to his Father in heaven. This is a chart that I got taken from Revelation chapter 6, 1-17. It began with white horse, red horse, and a pale horse. These are all from the same family tree. It was all conquerors, because one had a sword, one had a bow, and a great weapon, and this one had weapons of mass destruction. Hell followed after them. This is the CIA. But the black horse in Revelation 6, 1-7-15 had a balance in his hand, meaning that this was a man of justice, a man sent by God, preparing the way for the return. This was one of the cherubim, was spoken of on the mercy seat in Exodus chapter 25. I am that man. Now,